Guys, back here at Shapiro TV with more long-form content. And this today is the 3 things that I wish I knew before investing into real estate. And let's start off with the first one, which is the most important, okay? Capital needs, okay? Guys, when we're buying a deal, we all want to get that first deal, that second deal, that third deal, and grow. But you have to make sure that you financially engineer the deal properly. That is one of the things that we push and teach. You've got to make sure that whatever your income is going to be and whatever your expenses are going to be and whatever the equity in the deal is, you're going to have the proper cash flow. Now what happens is you do a deal, you make some money, and you start to think that you know what you're doing. And I'm not saying that from doing one deal you don't know what you're doing, but I'm saying that you can't take that deal and think that you know everything. So then you typically will go to a second deal. It may be a little bigger, and you may try to push a little further. And typically that deal might just be out of reach, okay? And that is where you create the stress and the ability to fail. So here is a simple example, okay? When buying a deal, do a 12-month projection. What is it going to look like when it's stabilized? What is it going to look like when you refinance it, do a cash out refinance? And what are you going to have for equity going into the next deal? When you cash out refinance, you're going to hold a 20% reserve in a reserve account. And then you're going to use the rest of those proceeds to actually buy your next deal. That way, you'll always have a little extra. You're not going to spend it on a fancy car or a fancy watch or a vacation. You're going to actually have that money in case you need it. Now you go and do that second deal and you financially engineer it. You want to make sure that it's the right cap rate going in. You want to also make sure it's got the right cash flow. And you also want to make sure that you have the right debt structure. And do not undercut your construction costs, because it will come back and bite you in the ass, okay? Number 2, picking the right partner. Now, a lot of people partner with people, or they do their equity from friends and family, or they're lucky enough to have saved up their money, as I was able to. But my father was my partner on my first bunch of deals. And you need a partner that is like-minded, okay? That when maybe the deal gets tough or goes sideways, you come up with solutions. You need to always be solution-orientated. And when you have a bad partner and they say, well, I'm gonna give you $25,000 and then the deal has the cost overrun of 10, and they refuse to give you their portion, which could be 5 if it's a 50% partnership. And they become obstinate, and you get stuck because they don't realize that that is just a small amount to get this project over to the finish line and make the biggest difference and actually grow a portfolio and create that value. So you need to be very, very careful with who you partner, because they can sabotage you. They can self-sabotage you and not even know what they're doing. The last a lack of understanding. This business requires you to understand what you're doing. This business requires you to know what you're doing. This business, you cannot wing it. It's a process-driven business. If A happens, then B happens. If B happens, then C happens. It's linear, okay? It's not a mountain, okay? It's not a zigzag. It's from point A to point B, and you do it in a straight line. Now, granted, you're gonna have some movements and some flex because you may be undervalued on your rehab. You may have that issue with a partner. But a lack of understanding of what your end goal is and what you're doing and your market and who your associated professionals are, you're gonna fail. And that is where mentorship comes in. And that is what we do here. We mentor people, we force them to be accountable, we push them to get uncomfortable, and that is why we're super successful. So guys, if you want to learn more about real estate, DM me the word real estate and let's go!